everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. We are here with the man, the myth, the legend himself once again, Prince. If you didn't watch my last video, you probably should before this one. The previous one was us talking about budgeting and finances in Lolita fashion and what our current goals are. And for this video, I took some questions off of my Instagram that I received like a few weeks back, and we're just gonna go through them, give our opinions, and talk about them, really sort of like a Q&A type thing, and hopefully you guys can take something good from it.
You got a lot of great questions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some of these. Though, obviously, disclaimer, we're not professionals. We have no true financial experience. Take our advice at your own risk. And don't take us that seriously because we're just two buffoons sitting on a gothic couch right now.
Period.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
No, everything you said was good.
Sweet. All right, so let's start with this one. Is it better to focus on one coordinate at a time or collect pieces that will mostly match everything? And I'm assuming this person is talking about like starting out in the fashion.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for this one. Personally, I would get many pieces that match a lot of things.
I agree. I think the most important thing to avoid is buying a lot of main pieces and not having stuff to match them.
Right.
Because it's like if you have many main pieces but you're using the same blouse, headdress, socks, and shoes, that's not really different coordinates in my view. If you're going to pick something to buy, I do agree that it's better to have things that'll like match everything.
Yeah.
But in terms of like buying a cord or buying like random stuff, kind of, I think it just depends on your style, because if your style is really consistent, you can buy one coordinate at a time.
Yeah.
But if you are like into gothic and classic and old school or something, then you maybe want to think more about like that.
How do you feel though about this question in regards to like a full set from like AP though?
I mean, I don't mind full sets.
No, I mean, I don't mind them either, but if you buy a full set, that almost only works as itself, no?
Yeah.
I'm not a sweet Lolita. I don't know these things.
It does depend, but like I am, like for example, I'm wearing like the Dream Marine tights with Mermaid Symphony right now. And I have the full set of Dream Marine. And the Dream Marine head bow is also super versatile. So it really depends.
It depends. But like I wouldn't match the like honey cake head bow with like...
It does, yeah. If it's printed, it's harder.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I think if your wardrobe is very consistent, you might as well buy one coordinate at a time, because those things will probably all match anyway. If you have a lot of different styles and pieces, you should probably think about the individual items you're buying a bit more, and maybe buy stuff that can bridge the gap between the main pieces you have. Even if you are like, let's say wearing all sweet, but you have at the beginning a pastel dress and a jewel tone dress, maybe think about buying stuff that's like white or gold that can match it, instead of buying either pastels or jewel tones more, because you're just going to essentially create two different wardrobes.
Yeah. Especially if you don't know what your style is yet.
Yeah.
You're still figuring it out.
It's fine to fuck that up at the beginning.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. We all did.
Yeah.
I certainly did. Yeah. Okay.
But you got there in the end.
Yeah. Good question, though.
How do you know if a dream item is worth it? I think this is a really, really, really good question.
I love this question.
You should go first.
Oh, my God. For me, it really comes down to usability, wearability. Right? So like for me, when I think dream item, I'm thinking like this is possibly something very expensive.
Yeah, probably.
You know, so like if we're talking a dress that's like $500-$600, like a very expensive dress.
Yeah.
Are you gonna wear it a lot? You know, I think, for example, like the AP like Antoinette OTT.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like if your dream item is that and you love that dress, like great.
How do you know if that's worth it? Because you're not going to get a lot of use
You're not going to get a lot of use out of it. Like, this is just my personal view on Lolita, but I'm more into like casual everyday wear versus over the top. And I really prioritize wearability. So if your dream item is something that you really feel like you're going to wear a lot, I say go for it. You know?
I agree, but I think it's important to have a personal limit.
Sure.
So like my personal limit, I don't think I could ever spend more than 400 Canadian whole dollars on a dress. My most expensive piece is Mermaid Symphony in pink, which I'm wearing. And that was 350 Canadian. And that's not counting shipping and all that shit, which is another topic. But I don't think I would be able to spend $450 on a dress. For example, I have Twinkle Mermaid, but I never would have bought it if it was $800 or $1,000, because that's just my personal limit. That's essentially like 4 dresses, you
Yeah.
know? Most of my dresses are around $200, $250. So I think it is good to have a personal limit, but just be realistic, because if your dream dress is like Twinkle Mermaid, the chances of finding it for a low price are like pretty minimal, you know? At the end of the day, I think you do need to kind of keep the market into consideration.
Yeah.
It's just I have dresses that I would love to have, like Cherry Berry Bunny or Milky Chan. I'm not going to get them because they go way past my personal limit.
I feel like this is where our sub-styles really change our answers, because I earlier mentioned, like, what if your dream dress is $500-$600? It's because as someone that collects like Moi Moitié and Mary Magdalene, that's basically what you're gonna get.
You don't really have, which is again why it's like about personal limit and stuff, because it's like you realistically would just have no dream dresses, but you know to maybe kind of like put money aside and save up. Or buy less if you do find a dream item.
That's the thing. Like, my dresses are much more expensive, but at this point, I would get like maybe 2 or 3 a year max.
I think I have more dresses than you right now, which which also shows like if your dresses cost less, you are probably going to buy more, and you are concerned with like having less.
I want the dresses that I have to be like just my absolute dreams, top wish list. I don't tolerate any dress that I feel lukewarm about.
Right.
Because that's just me. I'm like, oh, why do I have it? You know?
Yeah. Big question though.
Great question.
Do you factor lifestyle costs into your budget? Like laundry, events, alteration, stuff like that?
I don't.
Yeah. I don't either, but I did just mention shipping and shopping service fees.
Yes.
And also duty fees because we live in Canada.
Yeah.
Personally, and I do think this is a bad habit, I don't factor it in usually. Unless it's like going to impact my savings, my non-Lolita savings. Then I do, you know? But it's like if I can't afford it on just my credit card without it impacting my savings, I won't factor it into my budget, which is a bad habit because shipping, shopping service fees, and duties can easily add up to $100, $150.
Yeah. No, I'm the same as you. And it's like, you know, I'll be like, oh, wow, I got this dress for $300. But then after all that,
it was actually $450.
It was actually $450.
Exactly.
You know, like, and that was the cost of the dress for it to be physically in your house.
Yeah.
You know, that was the cost. It wasn't $300. So I'm bad about that.
So the answer is we don't, but we should.
Well, the question was specifically alterations and laundry and stuff, and for
lifestyle
me,
stuff.
It's not frequent enough for it to warrant me factoring it in because like I just wash at home. Like I don't.
I also do, and I rarely get stuff altered.
Exactly.
If you are getting stuff altered pretty frequently, and it's like, you should.
Yeah, but in events, like what? I'm not going to events.
Yeah, you have to understand. We live in Quebec. We don't have castles or things to go to.
We have to travel.
And also, I can't do high tea, so.
Yeah.
Sad. All right, next. How do you enjoy the fashion in a way that centers shopping less while you're also dealing with FOMO, the fear of missing out?
I feel like you have a great answer for this one.
Do I?
Yeah, it's in a whole other video by Pink Fake Flowers.
Which one?
Do one you know by?
Oh, yeah. Do activities.
Girl.
I think honestly, you have to not look at shopping stuff. You can't, if you are looking, you have to kind of like, if you have the fear of missing out, you have to miss out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to confront that fear because if you're like gonna still look at like Mercari and Rakuten and Lace Market and Shanu or whatever you're looking at, you're going to think, ooh, I could buy that, ooh, I could buy that, you know, or you're inevitably going to see something that you want to buy.
100% agree. And I would add, honestly, we need to admit, collectively, Instagram is a shopping app. Like, yeah, your friends are there, my friends are there too, but these days, so many of the accounts we follow are stores. Or even if they're like artists, there's still things being sold. And like for me, I realized recently, like I think 80% of what I follow on Instagram at the end of the day is trying to sell me something. You know, and
it's
that
just
is
easy to get jealous too, you know.
It's so easy to get jealous.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like if I'm like, oh, this person has more whatever, Moitié, Mary Magdalene than me, and I'm like, oh, and then I feel bad, and then I don't feel good. And it's like, but I'm doing that to myself. That's no one's fault.
Right.
I'm doing that to myself. And at a certain point you have to draw the line if you're gonna do a no buy.
Yeah.
You know? If you don't want to give into that. Also,
like either the dress will pop up again, or if it doesn't, it's just a dress. Like it sucks. It sucks so much to miss out on something that you really wanted. Like Memorial Cake, out of bad luck, I missed out on like 4 times.
That was almost funny though.
It was, but it wasn't. But you know, I was like, well, I'll get it or I won't. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, you can't put that much stock into a single piece of clothing. I can understand wanting a sufficient wardrobe to wear, but when you do already have that, it's just not healthy, I think, to base like your emotional fulfillment on a dress.
That is such a good point. See, I even forgot that in the middle of this
that
conversation.
Things are just dresses.
It's just a piece of fabric. Like, honestly.
Yeah. They're beautiful, lovely, emotional, stirring up dresses, but like they have to be just that, or else I do think it's so easy to have bad habits.
Yeah. Not to be like heavy, but like just to touch on that, like last year I had health issues, and like when I was in that mode, I was like, oh, Lolita's just dresses.
Yeah.
In that time I was like that because it wasn't my health, it wasn't my happiness, it wasn't my relationships, like you know. So you're absolutely right.
For me it's the opposite, because like I've been struggling with like some like mental health issues more, and I've been wearing Lolita less, and I have the opposite feeling where it's hard for me because I'm so emotionally attached to my dresses.
Right.
I feel like guilty for having them and stuff, but like what I need to learn from that is maybe let's not add new dresses to your collection, but like let's just keep at the number we're at and try and enjoy them as much as possible, you know? Yeah. But it's like you can have both feelings, but try and come to a good outcome either way.
Yeah. The outcome should not just be like buy more because, you know, like one thing I love doing is when I discover a new way to cord something, especially if it's a dress that I've had for like years, I feel like such a sense of accomplishment. Right. You know, I'm like, oh my God, I never thought of this color combination or whatever. And that feels amazing. Yeah. So that's just, I don't know, it's my 2 cents.
Yeah, try different stuff with your wardrobe and like do all of those actual like the hard work, the mental health work and stuff. I think that is, you know, admitting that it isn't just like a casual issue. If it is a serious one, like for whoever's watching this, I think is a good thing too. Like it's okay to admit that like you have that emotional attachment to Lolita and it's hard to buy less.
Yeah. And like engage with the other hobbies. Like I love to read, I love to game. So I'll do that in Lolita. Yeah. You know? That's nice. Yeah. You draw in Lolita sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, you know, because then you're not focusing so much on the buying. You're just like, oh, I'm wearing this and doing something I love. Yeah. And that's such a positive connection you can make in your mind. So anyway, great question though. Important question.
So the next question is definitely one that I don't think we'll come to a definite answer to. No. But how many dresses is too many dresses?
Woo! That's spicy.
California Reaper, that one.
Honestly, everyone's going to have a different answer. Yeah, I have seen a lot of people's answers, and I think what I see most often is something between 30 and 50. Yeah. That's not necessarily my opinion, but that's what I see the most often.
That's the common one, yeah, for sure.
Of course, there's a lot of people with 100 plus. For me, the thought of having a dress in my wardrobe that I haven't even worn once in a year upsets me. So with that in mind, realistically, my number would be like my perfect number for a wardrobe would be like between 30 and 40.
Yeah, I agree. I'm at 29 right now, I believe. And there are a few dresses that I'm like, for me, it's not really a big deal if I don't wear them in a year, like Aqua Princess or Marine Kingdom, because they're so OTT. I know I'll wear them for an event again. And like, I think even average people have event clothes. Yeah. So that's
a good point.
Having 2 or 3 event dresses, I think, is pretty normal. Yeah. But to me, having like a 10 or 12 would be too difficult to manage. Yeah. And I do think about this a lot. Like, if I'm not able to wear Lolita to work, will I keep the same amount of dresses or will I sell them? Right. Because it's difficult for me to enjoy the size of my wardrobe while only wearing it once a week.
Yeah, you have a good point, because like for context, like I don't wear Lolita to work. Yeah. Like I have to quote unquote live as a man at work. Yeah.
As if you don't 24/7.
You know what I mean. I can't confuse people. So I could have the same amount as you, but I think at that point I would start to feel like I'm not wearing them enough.
You do wear it quite often though. You wear it like twice a week at least.
I do, yeah. And I'd say I only have about one event dress, which for me is like Divine Cross.
Because it's like high value.
It's high value, and it's almost like just a work of art.
It's also quite OTT. It has like the bustier cut and everything. I'm
obsessed with that dress.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's not OTT by like I feel like some people's standards, because there's not like a million like tiers of lace or whatever. But
it is to me. It's your equivalent of Aqua Princess. You understand
exactly. So you know I'll never get rid of that. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, I mean there's no right or wrong answer. I guess it's just like, to me, it makes me sad to think of a wardrobe that like you really don't get a lot of use out of, like maybe like half of it or more. Unless you're a collector, that's valid. I don't relate to that. Do you relate to that?
I can understand it a little bit because, for example, I haven't worn Twinkle Mermaid in a while.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's quite old and it came out in 2006, so it's almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
It is starting to get a bit damaged, and I'm reluctant to have it repaired in case anything goes wrong, but I don't see myself selling it.
Yeah.
You know? I can understand the motivation behind collection, but again, I don't really understand it once it reaches the point where you aren't participating in the fashion or wearing those pieces that often. I don't understand having a dress that you buy and you don't wear for 10 years. Like, personally, it just doesn't align with my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And also, I don't have space for more than 30 dresses.
If you don't have, like, a house, right?
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to put that? But that's a different topic. But we don't have houses, so...
Yet. Manifest it for me.
I will. But yeah, I mean, there's no right answer. I mean, I think to go back to what we were saying in our previous video is just mindfulness.
Yeah.
Mindfulness. If you feel after a period of reflection that amount of dresses that you have is correct for you, then that's correct for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who am I?
Yeah, I think for us, I guess the answer is like 30 to 40.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think space-wise, 35 would have to be my limit, and I'm already pushing it like at 29.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I would start to have like more seasonal. Like, I don't wear my polyester dresses in winter,
Right.
but I don't put them away. But I could.
Right.
Which would honestly liberate like half the space in my wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Lolita is just at a certain point you have like so many tops and cardigans and accessories and shoes that it's less about the dresses and more about the whole hobby.
Yeah, well, as a classic though, I have like a corduroy and a wool. Oof. That shit is heavy.
Yeah. So the last question is more of a talking point, I would say, but how do you handle the normalization of shopping addictions via memes and jokes in the community? And we did touch on this at the end of the last video, but like I guess we can get more into specifics.
Like, how do we actually react to it?
Yes.
Honestly, block and delete.
Yeah. I make YouTube videos about it.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very comfortable. Not blocking, that's very harsh. I'm very comfortable unfollowing anything that doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
Because social media already sucks. Like, we can all agree.
We don't like Instagram at all.
No, it sucks. I always feel bad.
I miss Tumblr.
Yeah, I just feel negative on Instagram, even at its best. And so with that in mind, like, why not cater it as much as possible to making yourself feel good?
I agree. I just don't think it's funny, and I think it's important to say that, you know, like, I will say it in my videos and stuff as much as possible, or if it ever comes up like on my Instagram, but I feel like I'm much more vocal on my channel about like opinions and stuff. I just think it's damaging, and like, to be honest, you can't really say that like, well, this is like a coping mechanism and stuff because you're affecting other people. And this applies to like any sort of self-deprecating like joke and stuff. I'm just personally not a fan because I've been that person, and then you realize how much you're affecting other people, and it just becomes really shitty because it's like you're kind of making your problem other people's problems.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to like struggle in silence, but I just think it's better for everyone, for yourself, for other people, for the people around you, to be honest with your struggles. You can have a sense of humor about it, but when the joke is, don't worry, this is normal, that's kind of the problem to me.
That's when you're crossing the line, because like, a shopping addiction is still an addiction. It's a serious thing.
Yeah, and like, if you have spending problems and impulse spending, that's not necessarily the same thing as a shopping addiction. Like, to be honest, I don't think people realize how serious that is sometimes. Like, the level of debt you can be in, the emotional damage of it.
Families have been ruined.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think if you have impulse spending issues and spending issues overall, it's really good to curb it. But joking about it like that, when you don't have a full-blown shopping addiction yet, is not going to be the thing that prevents you from crossing the line.
Totally. Yeah. It's just
the harsh reality.
It's harsh reality. It's not a joke, and it never will be a joke.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's tacky.
It's kind of old for me. It's the same joke over and over again. One, I think it's damaging, and two, genuinely, I think the bit is old.
Oh my God. You remember like on Tumblr when people used to be like, make those jokes or like, I'm trash.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
Self-deprecating. It's like, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and it's giving old millennial humor.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just the same joke over and over again. If I saw a creative joke about overspending, I might laugh. Generally speaking, we're going to agree on a lot of stuff just because we talk about these things a lot. And I feel like, to be honest, being able to have those conversations really helps your relationship to the fashion and stuff. Because when you're just kind of like struggling on your own, it's very difficult to change your habits, which is why, again, I'm like really pro like just the honesty of it, because I really think other people will reach out and relate to you, and that can really help you.
They will, and we have to stop shaming people who say they can't afford something.
Yeah, I agree. Just do it. Don't worry. Just buy it. Worry about it later.
Yeah. You know, like people will comment maybe on a release they don't like, or like, I can't afford it anyway. And then inevitably someone will be like, well, you can't even afford it, so why do you get to comment?
Yeah, that's so weird.
That's shaming. You're shaming their financial situation.
Yeah, and I have opinions on dresses I'll never buy. You can have an opinion on anything.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's why we watch like Iron Chef while eating like cup ramen. Like, I'm allowed.
Exactly. You know? Overall, I feel like it's just kind of honesty that we both agree with more than anything.
Totally. Yeah, and just you know, just be mindful of other people's situations.
Mindfulness.
Yeah, be kind and, you know, focus on what's right for you.
Yeah.
Don't compare yourself to others as much as you can. I know that's really corny, but like, it's true.
It's true. I agree. Yeah. It's just like sometimes the best advice is like the stuff that everyone says because everyone says it for a reason.
Yeah.
That was the last question, and I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being in my video once again. If you are a Prince stan, if you are a fan, what would your fandom be called? The Surfs? If you are a surf, and you're part of the Prince fandom, you'll be happy to know that in the near future, he will be in another one of my videos. If you don't like him, don't watch my videos.
I don't like you either.
But thank you so much for watching this one. I really appreciate it. Please let me know in the comments below either any other questions you have, or maybe advice you have, or answers you have to the questions that were in this video, so we can share more perspectives. I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day, but until then, bye-bye.
Bye.